still here for one good time.
Duckville, bottle kid!
What's up, guys? So the video I initially was gonna make for this week actually fell through. It wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to, so I decided to try out something new like I always do and talk about some of the stories I've been kind of hesitant to share before, because that's just part of my anxiety. Like, I don't know how people are gonna react to these things, so I just figured I'd try it out. And it's gonna be talking about, I don't want to say they're traumatic stories, but they're at least notable stories, you know, that had a lot of emotional impact. And I thought it actually kind of fit into this channel neatly because, you know, the theme of mental health. And after going through therapy for the last 2 years, I have a lot more perspective on the effect that these, you know, experiences had on me. So I feel like I can add more now. And I have a lot of these experiences, so that's a lot of, you know, material to work with. So this story, I know that actually sounds like clickbait, the title. It's actually not, which is kind of shocking. But so when I was in 7th grade, my dad had just gotten out of the hospital for like the millionth time because he's always treated his body like a garbage can or like a trash disposal. So he's always had issues with his body, and, you know, he's always sick. He's been kind of like old ever since I was born, even though he was only like 35 or 36 when I was born. So I guess my stereo had broken because he was trying to bond with me, which was kind of out of character for him to want to hang out with me by himself willingly.
How many times are you gonna say it? We'll do that quantity time thing tomorrow. I'll spend a whole lousy day with the kid.
Because normally anytime we spent any time together, it involved us just sitting catatonically in front of the TV. And I couldn't talk unless it was, you know, during commercials. So I didn't normally like hanging out with him. But I was always pretty passive when I was a kid, so I just went along with it. So, oh, and another reason he would normally hang out is if he had just gotten an argument with his mother. My mother. So there's that as well. So I can't really remember what we talked about whenever we were in the car ride over to Walmart, but it probably involved music because that was only like the only thing we really had in common that we could talk about, and he wouldn't talk about things that he wasn't explicitly interested in. So the first thing I remember is as he was getting out of the truck, our little red truck we had back then, he had like a tube that was draining fluid from his liver, and I guess it kind of like got loose or something and it started dripping all over him. So he takes off his pants. I forget why he had to do that, but he did have to do that. He wasn't just taking his pants off. And so some people walk by me, and there I am with this middle-aged man in his underwear in a parking lot outside of Walmart. So it's a very odd situation. So he got like a little driving machine. He always uses those so that we could drive around. So we get into the store, and he was really angry and told me to hurry up. And whenever he was mad, he would like throw temper tantrums, and like everything would go out the window. He didn't care how he made you feel. So I'm in the store and I can't really think. He didn't really give me like a price limit for the type of stereo I could get, and I knew no matter what type of, you know, stereo or radio or whatever, or boombox as he called it, I'd bring back, his favorite thing to say is, "Are you trying to piss me off?" And I always wonder if he meant that literally. Like I woke up that morning thinking, wow, my day is going a little bit too good right now, and I really want to make my dad angry. So after a while, like it was probably like 5 minutes, he comes over there like, you know, I have liquid dripping all over me and it's so embarrassing. And so he tries to leave the store as quickly as possible. Oh, I didn't get a stereo, by the way. So the whole plan backfired. And this woman was in his way, and she's like, "You don't have to be rude," because he kind of like shoved her. And he's like, "Well, yeah, I do, or else you won't get out of the way." And then he's like rude to this other woman. So as we're in the car, he's like, because at that time I've always been a bigger guy, but I was pretty chubby, or at least I was told I was really chubby when I was in 7th grade. So I had been dancing to try to lose weight, and he was just like berating me, you know, for being, you know, for not caring about him, not respecting him, because my dad didn't really have a set of values that he used to like discipline me. It was just, don't make him angry. That was his only real value. And it would change day by day, so I never knew what to expect. So at one point I remember, because I was just really sullen, I was just staring at the ground and I remember I still do this now when I have panic attacks. I coax myself. I help myself relax, saying it's okay, you're just having a panic attack, it's not your fault. So I was telling myself like maybe I can, because at the time I was using his computer to listen to music. Then he told me, oh, and don't think that you're gonna be able to, don't think I'm just gonna let you dance in my room. You can wear headphones and dance if you want to. And then I imagined myself dancing with headphones, and it was kind of a funny image. That's what I would do in order to make myself feel better. So when we got to our trailer park, this group of teenagers that would actually bully me at the bus stop every morning because I was fat. I forget what happened, but there was a big group of them, and my dad's like parked the truck, and they got into like a swearing match because my dad was about the same level of maturity as the kids. So at one point they threatened him with their skateboards, and then he told them like for some reason, because he was disabled, he was allowed to defend himself with his cane. So he flails around trying to grab the cane like, you know, an infant that just realized they have arms for like 10 seconds, and he finally got it out. So he gets out of the truck, goes to attack them, but he was too weak. So they just tell him to get out of there. My dad still thought he was like this big tough guy. So in the entire time, I didn't actually see any of this, I just imagined it. I was just sitting there sullen, just staring at the ground, the same thing that I did every morning on the bus, because people would always make fun of me. Then they threatened to like call the police on him, and he's like, oh, then he gave his address, our address, and then we went home, and my mom had actually made a chicken salad, because for some reason I wanted to eat a salad that day. I didn't normally eat salad when I was a kid, like most kids don't. And he was like sort of like bragging to my mom about this, because he was always trying to show how cool he was. I don't think he even realized he was doing that, but I could see it. But at his age, it was childish for a child, but at his age, it was like ridiculous. So I remember my mom was probably like, he probably couldn't even think whenever I was like trying to pick out the stereo. But that's pretty much the story. I'm gonna try to, I don't know what the response to this is gonna be. It could be really negative. Maybe people will think that I'm like trying to, I don't know what I'm trying to do, honestly. As always, if you like my video, subscribe. If you like my music, buy it. And if you hate me, tell everybody out.